everybody, welcome to GJS Railways. My name is Greg. Today we're going to be talking about something that I got very recently. As a matter of fact, we did the unboxing video on it last night. A bunch of pre-war locomotives. We got some really nice things, I think. This is a 259, yes, 259E, and that's what we'll be talking about today. Now, before we get too much further, if you happen to like this video, you might give us a thumbs up, like the video. That's always a nice thing to do. It helps us gauge what you like, what you don't like. If you're not yet a subscriber to the channel, you might go ahead and subscribe. We're always doing things like this. If you're into some of the older locomotives, this is probably the place for you. Don't have a lot of the newer stuff. We have a few things, but nothing that you would probably find in a store new now. So, all right, with no further ado, once again, this is the 259E. I did clean this up a little bit. It looked a little worse for wear yesterday. It's certainly not pristine, but I really like it. I like the copper accents and so forth. Then the brass handrails. These are just really nice. So I noticed that the lever here for the E unit is not where it's supposed to be, which makes me think that this has been opened before. Now, I mean, I believe that this was produced starting in 1933, so the likelihood of somebody being in here in that period of time is actually probably pretty high. So I'm going to get this arranged a little bit better so you can see less of me and more of the train, because we are going to be taking it apart. I want you guys to see what we're doing and be able to follow along if that's your desire. So let me get this straightened out and I'll be right back. Okay, I think I've got this pretty well situated where you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to try to be cognizant of what the camera can see. However, historically, I'm not very good at that, so you'll excuse me for that moment that is probably inevitably going to happen. So this guy is pretty easy to get apart if you know how. Now I'm fixing to show you how. So this nut right here will need to come out, and the motor assembly will just kind of swing out. Now, in order to get it out, these nuts on these wheels, just the back ones, will need to come off, because otherwise it can't slide out, because it's fastened here on the body, and believe me, you don't really even want to mess with that. Okay. All right, so when you're working on these, you want to get something soft to kind of lay them on so they don't get messed up, especially the tin, because I mean, as you saw, it's got a couple of bad spots already. They do make a foam thing that these sit in, and it kind of cradles it. I don't have that. So all right, let's get these nuts off these wheels first. Got some nut drivers, but I'm not sure that I have the right nut drivers, so we're gonna try this. Oh, that's too big. Oh, that's not cool. This one, oh, it's actually too small. Okay, well, I'm going to do this in a way that you shouldn't do it. All right, well, that was not bad. So the danger with these little screws that I'm removing is that, especially if they've been in here a while, and you see how long that is, they will tend to want to break and get stuck in your wheel. And if you can avoid that in any way, shape, or form, that's what you want to do, because that is not a fun job to get that back out of there. So I just put the bolt and this little shim back on here just to keep it from getting lost. I didn't bring a parts cup when I started the project, so You want to be cognizant of where everything is. So this can just stay here. This won't hurt a thing like that. So turn it on the other side. Once again, we'll try to make it so you guys can see. Same thing on this. This once again is not how this should be removed, but I don't know. I got the world's only NetDriver set without this size apparently. All right, so once again, you want to be careful, especially if you do have a NetDriver, because you can unintentionally put some torque on these that they won't withstand if they're stuck. Especially if you have one with a little ratchet or something like that. That gives you almost too much leverage. So okay, so let this just kind of hang. On the back here, there's that. This rear truck back here is kind of, well, it is in the way. You can get it off with that in there, but it has been my experience that it is just much easier if you just go ahead and take it off. It's pretty simple. It's just a little what I call a cotter key. I don't know if that's actually, I don't even know where I where I picked that up. But anyway, and these guys are generally just spread on one end, and then it's got this little loop in. Depending upon who has had it apart and how they did it. Well, actually, this one doesn't look like it's, well, that actually wasn't in there correctly. No, you can't see that. I know you can't see that. So when you take this apart, or anything apart, I kind of like to keep everything kind of together. You see how there's a washer on there, and if you're like me, you'll go to assemble it and you'll go, oh, does it go under it? Does it go over it? What does it do? You just kind of leave it where it goes. Later side, that's generally the best way to do that. So now I hope I have a nut driver that'll fit this little nut, because that would make our lives a lot easier. So, oh, yes, yay. So, okay, let's just pull this out. So, all right. This, once again, you don't want to lose this little bitty nut, because, well, A, you don't want to lose it, but B, you don't want to look for it either, because it is tiny. And if you're like me, your eyes are not as good as they used to be. So, all right, this should, and I say should because you never know what somebody else has done. This should slide out with a little, oh, well, it came right out. Oh, wow. Okay, this came right out. So right away, yes, somebody has definitely been in here. That looks like a mess. Yeah, that's wow. Yes, that's really not good. All right, so we got loose wires. We've got, oh wait, the E unit. Well, not only is the lever bent, but it's not connected to anything. There's no wires coming off the E unit at all. Now, I probably was going to eliminate the E unit. I mean, I'll leave it in here, but I was going to eliminate the function. And my thinking is this train doesn't actually have a great need to go backwards, because the type of couplers this has is the pre-war type, where it's a, I'll show you if I can move. So the car is fastened together like this, so it's not like you're gonna back up or, you know, do this in a way that you're gonna uncouple this with any kind of automatic or electromagnet or anything like that. No, I don't know. I hope I didn't just have that out of the camera's view, but it's quite possible I did. So this little nut that I was so concerned about losing until I saw the wires, the best place for this is actually right back on the on the screw it came off of. So I'm just going to set that aside. So I've taken out the D unit. As you can see, it's completely devoid of whatever wiring it once had. I'm going to bend this lever back up so it will at least look correct. I'm telling how many decades that's been over like that. So, all right. So on these, with this particular brush plate, I've had problems in the past where these rollers over time will get up in here enough and they won't spring anymore, so they won't contact the track. If you look, you can kind of see a lip here. When this is in the down position, this lip should touch this pickup plate, and it does. So we ought to be good on that. This one's the same. This one actually a little cattywampus maybe. So, and then it just goes on the track like this, and I don't know if you can see or not, but the roller is in fact the pickup roller. There you go. Is in fact touching the track, so that ought to be okay on that. So, all right, this barrage of wires. This would probably scare the heck out of most people. I've seen this before. So, all right. Doesn't have the light bulb. I did bring a light bulb when I grabbed the stuff. So, assuming this socket's any good, you might can make that work again. I'm not sure on the voltage of the light bulb. That may or may not be the correct one, but we're going to try it out because it's the only one I have. So, all right. I'm going to take these little rods, little drive rods off here and see if it might be where we're binding. I rather suspect it may very well be. There is a little bit of rust and corrosion on these. Let's see, that one was actually loose. Let's see, and turn it to where you guys can see. All right. So, put this guy over here. And then we'll turn it over and we'll do the same thing to the other side. So really, I should have a parts cup to do this, and I don't. So we'll just have to be super, super careful. It's better to have the parts cup. I'll just tell you from experience. So, okay. So this is, I'm going to lay these out. I don't know that it matters, but I'm going to lay them out to the sides that they go to, just so we know. So, all right, that was where our binding was. That now turns very freely. That's probably going to be good. I see a little bit of corrosion where I'll show you. See how it's kind of in the same spot? What happens is people will display these on a track, and if you think about it, you know exactly what that is. If this sits here long enough, it will condensate and cause a little corrosion wherever it's on the track for however long it's been on display. I'm going to say this one was quite some time. So one of the things that you can do to clean this up, if I can get to it, is this wadding polish. I don't probably younger people don't even know what this is. It's good stuff. That's what it is. So I just get off a little bit of it and just kind of wipe it down. And generally speaking, that'll clean it up pretty good. You don't want to go real crazy on this with anything like super abrasive. So it's kind of taking it off. Not as well as I had hoped, but I think it'll be good enough. At least good enough to see if it works. So I guess it appears that I'm just cleaning like I'm just confident it's going to work, and I don't actually know that it's going to work. Okay, so that one's somewhat clean. This one's not as bad. Still got a little spots here and there. I'm just gonna kind of go over that, and we'll just come over here on the other side and we'll do the same thing. The good thing about the wheels, as far as having a little gunk on them, is there's 4 of them. So you have several opportunities for contact with the common that's going to the body, whether that be positive or negative. I don't know another way to say that, but anyway. So, all right, these are cleaning up pretty nice, I think. Oh, a little bit of. I want to take the opportunity while those rods are off to kind of get in here and clean some things that you can't get to with those on there. So, all right, that looks pretty good. So overall, the motor actually looks pretty nice. It does turn freely, so if you're freaking out about the wiring, don't just yet. So the only issue with this, well, I won't say the only issue. The issue with this wiring is, does it continue to where it needs to go without breaking or shorting to the pole that would be opposite of what it needs. So I kind of see what somebody has attempted here. Yeah, I've got a fix for this, and I'll show you guys here in a minute. So, all right, this I can see the short one goes to the to the light bulb socket. I might get a transformer out here in a minute, see if the socket is good. And this one here that goes down beside it is the wire for the field, which is your kind of the electromagnet that's inside there. And then these 2 are just the brushes. Looking inside here, the brushes look pretty good actually, and the armature actually looks pretty clean. I'm going to say that somebody had this apart and had good intentions, but I think maybe got in over their head a little bit maybe. So let's see, I'm going to wipe this down just to kind of get that off of there. That's what you do with the wadding polish. Just you put it on there, then you wipe it off. Kind of like a wax, but it's not a wax. It's just a polish. So, all right, that looks pretty good. And then we'll come over here and do the other side, obviously. So, let's see. I'm going to need, to make this work, I know already, I'm going to need some heat shrink tubing to insulate these wires. This one that I don't know if you can see this goes down to the contact plate here for the center rail of the track. We're going to hope that it has continuity, because this is a really large pane to take out and to solder and put back. You have to split this, spread this and take it out. It's not fun. Not fun, and it's not easy. So, ohms meter here. We have it set on ohms, yes. And okay, we do have continuity, so that is good. I don't know why that wire is so short, unless it just went to the E unit here, maybe. So, all right. I'm going to need to go get the heat shrink tubing, and we'll go from there. I will be right back with that, and we will continue this little project. I have a pretty good feeling about this. I don't see anything that looks like it's just catastrophic just yet. So let me go get the heat shrink tubing, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back with the heat shrink tubing here. I'm going to try to get this a little better than what it is. These old cloth covered wires tend to be problematic as they get older. We could pull the brush plate and we could actually fairly easily replace these, but until we see if this little guy wants to run, I think we'll just do this in some sort of temporary fashion. I do see some potential for problems here, but I'm going to try to work around it. So what I do with the heat shrink tubing is I simply slide it over this existing wire, and we're not doing anything other than just insulating. We're not trying to do anything other than that, because as you can see, this is without insulation here. This is the bare wire. That's just kind of what it does, and it goes down there a good little ways, and you just don't want the bare wire to touch anything. It's about as simple as that. So I'll show you guys how this wires up. It's actually really simple, if you know how. Basically, the two brushes, one side of your brush, depending upon if you want it to go forwards or backwards, would go to the power, which normally is a little longer than this wire, so this would like in theory go here. This one's already connected to the field, and that's all there is to wiring the actual motor. What you don't ever want to do is you don't want to do the current directly to the brushes. It has to go through this little field, the electromagnet here. There are instances where I've gotten locomotives where they have wired them directly to the brushes, and I've actually seen instances where it works, but it also damages the armature. It burns it up, and that's not anything you really want to deal with either. So on the light, I don't recall if it's supposed to go directly to, and I think it is, directly to the pickup for the track, the center rail for the track. But I think that's the way it goes. If this light bulb pops because it has too much voltage, we'll know that was incorrect. So, all right. So right now, I think the challenge is going to be that this wire, and this wire all need to go together, and obviously this wire is not long enough to meet this wire. So we're going to have to do a jumper or something like that in the middle. So let's figure out what we're going to do. We do have some wire here that actually came with the box of parts. There was a white wire here somewhere. I don't see that. I don't really want to use purple necessarily, although it doesn't matter because we're going to do the heat shrink tubing. Now, when somebody opens this up in another decade or two, they will, say, "Hey, this isn't the original wire." That's okay. They can say whatever they like. Because if they're looking at it at all, I'm not here. I'm gone. I'm by. So, all right, I'm going to just kind of rudimentally, oh well, I'm going to roughly measure the length of wire that we need here. I think this wire actually needs to go around the E unit, so that's a consideration. Can't believe I thought about that. So, but I believe that the way this goes in, it could come. It looks like it could come up this way instead. I like that better if it can do that, and I think it can. So, all right, let's see. Yep. Okay, that's much better in my opinion. All right, so we got our heat shrink tubing here, and this one looks a little messed up. I'm not sure what happened to it. So you want to use, or I want to use, the smallest one I can find that will cover the wire. Once again, we're just insulating. We're not doing a single thing out. So that looks like that goes down in there pretty nicely. All we gotta do is figure out the length we need. Okay. So if I make it to this length, then this wire will stick up enough, and then we can pull it up just slightly where the connection is made, and we can insulate that as well. Yeah. Okay. Why I had to ponder that so much, but old brain. So, all right. We'll just slide that little guy on there. And then I like that. You can see how that, I think you can probably see how that insulates that going down. That'll help us on that. Once again, this pickup plate, it certainly can be removed and it can be rewired, resoldered, but it is really not a fun job at all. Not anything I feel like doing right now. So this wire might be a little too stiff for this. Not like it's gonna move around though, so I don't have to have a stripper on it. It doesn't. I have to do it this way, I suppose. Oh, well, all right, there we go. So we got this one going. So thinking I want this wire come directly here maybe, and kind of like that. So I'm gonna get some of this cloth off of here. I'm not sure what the thinking was on cloth covered wires. I'm sure there had to be a reason for it. Not quite old enough to know the reason, I don't guess. I'm just curious. It doesn't really matter. Well, that one's significantly easier to strip because it's pretty rotten. So, all right. That looks good, I think. So, once again, we're going to come in here with the heat shrink tubing. I never can say that like twice in a row. Always mess it up. Well, let's see. Let's get another piece of the smaller one. It actually looks a little larger than what I had thought. Oh, I see what has happened. They've all got mixed up in the box. So once again, we're just going to kind of roughly measure how far this needs to go down. And so that's kind of that's a full piece right there. That's actually not a bad deal. So we're going to get this guy here. And then he's going to go here to this. Don't see a problem with that. A little stiff on the heat shrink tubing here. I feel like my wire is just a little longer than I want it to. Get these to where they're not touching or not crossing, however you want to say it. And let's see. All right, so I think because this goes behind that E unit, I don't want it to be too complicated, but I think it'll be okay. Go ahead and did that. It kind of got in the way, didn't it? That's a slider. This is the only thing in the whole world that I use a lighter for. So I had to actually go buy a lighter. I don't have to worry a whole lot about getting it perfect on the heat shrink because it's just, you're just doing it enough to where it won't move. Okay, so once again, I'll move this out of the way. This guy's going to come down here. This is power coming up. And for right this moment, we're just going to twist these guys together. When I took it apart, well, this one is twisted together. I don't really think it comes from Lionel like that. Actually, most of the wires come to this E unit, so no, it doesn't go like that at all. So, all right, next we're gonna, because the wire wasn't long enough, we're gonna tie in this purple wire that we are gonna run to our light. And once again, it may or may not go here. I never can seem to remember, or maybe some of them are different. I don't know, actually. And what I don't want to do is what I just did. I want to be yanking on these wires. These wires are pretty old. Not the ideal thing to do. All right, I'm just going to twist this one here as well. I'm doing this way because at some point we'll probably replace these wires. And I'm not sure exactly where my soldering iron is at the moment. Have everything packed, trying to get the new building ready for the trains. It's been pretty doggone hot here, so we haven't gotten a lot accomplished on that. Maybe when it cools off. Although wintertime, I said maybe when it gets warmer. Yeah, never happy, right? So, all right, I'm just cutting this heat shrink tubing. This one's a little bit larger, so it can actually go over the smaller piece. So I can see my end of my wire. So that's actually just a little too short. My scientific measuring system here is not foolproof. So okay, that can go there. That looks better. So what I do on these where they kind of stick up like this, and just kind of I just heat it until the end kind of folds over on itself. And you'll know it because it kind of bubbles. There you go. Doesn't smell real pleasant either. So that I believe will do us for the positive end here. And I think, not sure, but I do think that the unit will still go in here without a lot of issue. Let's see. Yeah, we're good. So, all right, I'm liking that. So I was gonna camouflage the purple wire, but I just changed my mind. Somebody doesn't like the purple wire, they can change it. So this is simply going to our light socket. Do you like the way that I'm just assuming that all of this is going to work? I mean, that's like the ultimate in optimism. I mean, just ultimate. But I've had enough of these apart that you can, most of the time, you can kind of tell. Now, there is a wild card there, though, because remember when I said that you don't want to hook the power directly to the brushes. Now, if somebody did that, all bets are off. The armature may be fried. That may be what killed this one. I just thought about that because it does appear that somebody did just an awful lot of work and then just kind of quit. So, all right. We're going to hope that's not the case. Just going to hope that somebody started this and was like, this is too much. I don't want to do all this. And if so, we will win this little battle. I don't know if I call it a battle, but we'll make it run again. How about that? So it's just going to go down to that little light socket there. I actually don't have to measure this one terribly accurately because we can slide it further down the longer wire and it won't be quite as important. It doesn't go very far. It doesn't go into the body much. It just goes from here to the light. So all right. I'm hoping this is right. Although removing heat shrink tubing is not the hardest task in the whole world. I'm just going to bend this over and hope that my heat shrink tubing still goes over it because I'm using the smallest one. I think it will. We need a little bit of, yeah, there we go. A little bit of convincing. There. So you see we got that in there, and it's the one place that it could short out. It's covered. It's insulated now. So I want to try to get this wire out of the way. I'll use the lighter. We don't have to go all the way down there, so I think it'll be okay. The cloth doesn't catch on fire, which it just did. So okay, I like that. That looks pretty good. So then this one, I'm gonna go ahead and take this apart. I guess I probably should have done that to start with. All right, so that's apart. That is the worst of the wires right there. So I'm gonna try to see exactly what is the best route here to make this go down. I think I have it backwards of what I want, I think. Well, I don't think it's going to matter. So this is pretty long. This doesn't actually need to be this long. It just needs to go to here. Might make that one. Although we noticed that before that the heat shrink tubing makes it pretty rigid. So let's see. What I'll do is first off I'll get the wire on the brush here. Or no, maybe I'll do this one first because that's going to be the more difficult one, I think. I cannot. I just cannot tell which side of this wire that goes on I had it that way and it seemed like it was the other way, and now it seems like it's this way. Yeah, it was that way. Oh, so much for my eyesight. All right, I'm gonna. Boy, this is rough. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. May not be the thing to do, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut it right about here. All right, I believe I see silver. So, all right. Okay, so once again with the heat shrink tubing. I don't know why I have such a difficult time saying that. All right, so let's see. See what we can do here. You wouldn't think these thin little wires would be sufficient, but I'm guessing they are. All right, so can't tell exactly how long this needs to be. Think about there. I think as long as it's beyond the metal frame here, I think we're probably good. So, all right, yes, that, I believe that'll work. So, probably somebody's screaming at the YouTube video right now, that's not the way to do it. No, the way I'm going to do it. I've done actually quite a few like this, and it's worked pretty well. It's never been a problem or an issue. I mean, once again, you know, if we wound up to where we had to separate the frame here and do this, we would go ahead and rewire the whole thing, because at that point it would be pointless to leave the wires, because the only reason we're leaving them is because they're almost impossible to get to without separating this frame, which also, by the way, would entail removing these wheels, and not loving that job either. So I just noticed that this wheel, speaking of wheels, has a little piece, a chunk out of it. That may be where we're binding. That may very well be where we're binding. So it's a pretty easy fix. We could just do a washer, small washer, and then make sure we don't have any binding with the screw being too tight, maybe. But anyway, I think we can certainly make that work for us. All right, one last time with the heat shrink tubing here. Take this brush plate back off, and the wire snap in there. And it's not the way things are supposed to work. Unfortunately, sometimes that's just how things work. All right, get the brushes out of there. All right. Not sure what that is. Okay, we got both brushes accounted for, and pull the armature out. All right, let's try this again. All right. Edit. A lot of editing. All right. Let's see. Get this stripped if we can. So weird that all of a sudden it's working. Edit that out. All right. Okay. back to where we can get things going here. All right. Okay, so once you have this in here, you can slip this whole mechanism back in here, and most of the time it will stay together long enough to get you where you need to be there. So let's see. I see. Well, I don't see anything at the moment. One brush. I see two brushes. All right, so they're in there good. They're in there right. Kind of liking these purple wires. All right. On this brush plate, this is made of, I don't know, it's Bakelite or something. It's a product that will split. That's all you really need to know, I guess, if you get it too tight. So you don't want to do that, because finding these is becoming something of a challenge. So I just kind of snug it up and kind of watch it. So it's on little pegs, and just a little. I mean, just a little. What you don't want is it loose enough that it's gonna vibrate out, because it will. From experience, I can tell you it will. We're just kind of making a mess here and getting off our little workspace. Hopefully, at least some of that was on the camera. All right, so we're back to dealing with this. I had an issue earlier. These wires not wanting to cooperate real well. So I'm going to be a little more cautious. I was trying to get too aggressive with it and twist it too tight, I think. And it was not going for that. So got this piece of heat shrink tubing already on here that we can just slide over this, and we get this button down the way we want it. So I think we about got it, as far as this one goes. All right. So we're just going to kind of double this over a little bit, bring it back, then we'll run that heat shrink tubing down there. I think that'll button everything up real nice. Really nicely, nice something. Except that I see there's something here I don't like. All right, let's see if we can get this heat shrink tubing to get down here where we go. This is not particularly easy. Okay. It does appear that it's going to go, though, which is all that matters. All right, I think we got that. So let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, if that's in fact together, then that's good. I like that. So let's get a little heat. Let it do its thing. All right. I feel like we've come a long ways here. Kind of buckle these down a little bit. And then last but not least, we got this guy. which is clearly a little bit longer than he needs to be, but I think we can accommodate that as well. I really do wish this wire wasn't quite this long, but what are you going to do? Oh, goodness. Okay. All right. That's not good. This is not wanting to buckle up to this for some reason. Oh my goodness. Really liking the idea of this moving around a lot. And we're moving it around a lot. Okay. I think that's good. All right. And we'll slide this little guy over this. Oops. Kind of gotta make it cover that because that's the whole idea. Somehow I'm not getting this on here quite right. There we go. All right. Let's get that buttoned up before it changes its mind. All right, that looks pretty good. Nope, that can't go there. Just thought about it. Cannot go there. All right, so I think this will be good. Come on. Try to button this together. All right. Okay, guys, so I got this on the track. Awfully optimistic. Assuming that, we've figured out what's going on, assuming that we had the polarity correct, that's actually going to go forwards. A lot of assumptions here. So let's see how we did. Did we get a little bit of power? See a light? All right, well, you know what? Sometimes you just get lucky. All right. So this is going to work, and works pretty well, I might add. So, all right, let's get this all put back together, and maybe we can finally do that train video for the second locomotive that I couldn't do last night that I've been wanting to do, and we'll go from there. Okay, guys, well, we're done with the 259E for now anyway. We did quite a bit on it. We figured out why it was binding. I think the wheels, they expanded a little bit, which isn't uncommon, especially in the standard gauge. This is, of course, O gauge, but it's the same material for the wheels. And we simply put it in a washer, which allowed the little rods that go back and forth to not bind. It was a simple solution, and it seems to be working really well. We went ahead and rewired the brush plate and did some other things. Found a light bulb that seems to work. Like I say, this is our maiden voyage. We'll see if we did well or if it's back to the drawing board. So let's check it out. So far, it looks like we did pretty well. Give me a minute. I will move the camera to a more advantageous spot. Just wanted to show you guys the startup. So let's zoom out. This here. So this is like I said, this production on 259E started in 1933. And you may notice that these are the cars that have the static four wheels. And what I mean by that is they don't have trucks. It's just four wheels that are held in by the tin body, or the tin platform, I guess, and the couplers is what makes the bend, so it can turn the corners. Pretty nice. It's pretty ingenious. Of course, the ones with the trucks are obviously going to work a little bit better, but this is super cool. This is something that I didn't have. I didn't even know it existed prior to this. So, all right, guys. Well, if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. I'll tell you what, I worked my tail off to get this one going. But in the end, it's always worth it. It's worth it for this moment. So if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, you might go ahead and do that, especially if you do enjoy these type of videos. We appreciate that, and it's always nice to have a new member of our YouTube family. For those of you that are returning, we certainly want to not forget you guys, and we want to thank you for all your support and kind encouragement. And with that, I think this is about it for the 259E. Pretty excited, pretty happy. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing it. Till next time, I think this is it.